last unspoiled places. Join conservationist Mike Fay and photographer Michael Nichols in their efforts to save Africa's wild Eden.
Every man for himself.
Hi, welcome to Ultimate Explorer. I'm Lisa Ling. There are a few places left on this planet that are so unspoiled and so spectacular they could be modern-day Gardens of Eden. Well, tonight we're going to take you to one of them. It's Luongo National Park in the African nation of Gabon. It's a place where hippos play in the surf, whales come to mate, and elephants roam on the beach. For biologist Mike Fay of the Wildlife Conservation Society and National Geographic photographer Michael Nichols, this place is heaven on earth, and they're aiming to keep it that way. Take a look.
Wait, they're settling down a little bit, aren't they, the buffalo? Can you see how close they are? Cool. As long as they stay on that side, we're cool.
You're in a completely wild place, in a place where no one goes. That's the thing that's rare. You know, this is an incredibly rich environment, full of life, amazing diversity. This place is one of a kind. I mean, there's nothing else like it left on the planet. And you think, you know, why would we give that up?
They're just outside of my camera, that much.
Luongo National Park in the African country of Gabon. It's a magical, forbidding place where forest and sea meet to form a wilderness unlike any other. Every inch of it teems with life, from the smallest creatures to the biggest. Now, as the world discovers this hidden coastal paradise, Luongo's natural treasures are at risk. Wildlife biologist Mike Fay and National Geographic photographer Nick Nichols are here to help safeguard the future of this remarkable wilderness.
This is exploration first, and then you got to bring that place from complete obscurity to something that people can really fathom.
In some way, I've got to show how rich this environment is, how much food there is, and why there's so many animals here. There's just a few little tiny places left on Earth where animals have it to themselves, and this is definitely one of them.
Nick first journeyed to Central Africa nearly 15 years ago on assignment for National Geographic. Mike, a Wildlife Conservation Society biologist, joined him to help track the forest's elusive wildlife. The hardships of the jungle were relentless, but they became obsessed with documenting this wild place before it disappears. Even then, logging and illegal hunting were leaving their grim signature. Consumed by a passion to save this vanishing wilderness, Mike set out on an expedition that would stretch from eastern Congo to the coast of Gabon. Dubbed the Mega Transect, the adventure was hailed by some as the first great expedition of the 21st century. The team hacked their way across 1,200 miles of unexplored, unrelenting, and unforgiving terrain. Even in the most inaccessible pockets of the jungle, poachers were busy at work. The impact on local wildlife, obvious. So Mike chose to send a clear and forceful message. The team pressed on, pushing themselves to the limit. It was 15 grueling months, and then the mega transect reached the forest edge.
Well, if you can imagine walking through dense forest for 15 months, and you hardly ever see the sun, and all of a sudden you pop out into this beach with white sands and cool breezes and buffalo and elephants and hippos and gorillas, and it was like literally landing in paradise. It's just like total religious experience.
Mike was now more determined than ever. It took 2 more years of hard work, and finally his efforts were rewarded. With support from the Wildlife Conservation Society, Mike's passion, along with Nick's images, helped convince Gabon's president, Omar Bongo, to create an entire parks system.
13 national parks, that was beyond our wildest expectations, and that was the true success of the walk, not the walk itself.
There's a GPS in
2 years ago, they only caught a glimpse of what this coast possessed. Now, Nick's back in Luongo to capture the magic of this wild place. And Mike is helping to build an infrastructure for the park system.
This is where we got that poacher too, so he's no longer in operation.
To fight poachers and protect the park, Mike will need all the help he can get. Gabonese locals sign up to be eco-guides for Luongo.
The eco-guides serve kind of triple duty. We need people who can guide tourists. We need people to be doing kind of the science out there. We also need to keep this place safe. So that's what we're trying to do with these parks. We're trying to get these local people completely invested in these places.
13 recruits prepare to become Luongo's first eco-guides. Their training will be just like a military boot camp. Nick's son Eli takes one for the team.
He's representing the Nichols family. Get in there, boy.
This is good. You've redeemed yourself.
Mama's gonna kill us. We didn't have nothing to do with it. The Madam Safu made us do it.
For the first time in his 25-year career, Nick brought his wife Reba and sons Eli and Ian with him for the entire shoot.
He's got a little white spot there.
Roger Azize oversees the eco-guides and knows just how much work lies ahead.
There are some that are adapting, and others who are not adapting so well. This morning we recorded 2 people that have left. I don't know. Maybe it was too hard. I think we'll do well, no matter what happens.
They'll have to. These eco-guides are Luongo's best hope for survival. Meanwhile, Nick's anxious to get going on his assignment. But just like any family trip, while Dad wants to hit the road, the rest of the family is still busy packing.
If the boat's too full, we'll just not be able to do it, right? We're supposed to leave at noon. It's 11:08. Boat's not loaded. It's a 6-hour drive. That's where we're going. We can't go in the dark. The elephants come out 4 to 6. So we got to leave at 12. Boat, there's a bag of manuals underneath the driver's seat.
A houseboat shipped all the way from Missouri will serve double duty as transportation and shooting platform.
It's got a 90 horsepower motor, and it's got solar panels that we can charge all of our electronics with. So, and that charges the little trolling motors for the kayaks so we can sneak up on the animals. We've got camera traps that the animal breaks a beam and takes their picture. We got fake rock. You know, we got everything but the kitchen sink. Come and visit.
To help maintain all his gear, Nick's brought 2 camera assistants, Nate Williamson and Fred Tassi. And he'll need them. In total, he's got 2 tons of stuff.
Go in the closet here. We'll go ahead and put it on. It's yellow and orange. It's 11:24 and we're trying to leave at 12. 20 till 2. We're supposed to leave at noon. I'm just smoking because of the stress. Dr. Pay, I presume.
Thing's about to sink. I feel like I'm like crossing the English Channel or something.
The boat is heading over 40 miles up the Rembo Ngoe River toward Akaka, an area of Gabon that few outsiders have seen.
That's the sacred forest over there.
As night falls, they arrive at the edge of a vast swamp. Here, it is the end of the rainy season, and an explosion of wildlife is underway. After an exhausting 10-hour river journey, the group arrives at Camp Akaka.
Welcome to paradise.
It's a far cry from their home in Charlottesville, Virginia. For the Nichols family, it's one of those lifetime bonding experiences.
This was always intended to be a family thing because I've worked so much in Central Africa that they haven't seen. And we're in a place in our family life, with Eli being a young teenager and Ian being a young man fixing to go into the world, that I felt it was important for us to do something like this together.
How far are you going up there?
Going up.
He's taking me fishing.
Get your camera, let's go. It's like bumper cars.
Akaka is 30,000 acres of flooded forest. For 4 months of the year, this area is submerged under 6 feet of water. When the waters retreat, the swamp turns into an enormous garden, a magnet for animals from hundreds of miles away. It's a spectacular sight, even for old salts like Mike and Nick.
This is the first time anyone's really been up here to look at this place from kind of a natural history point of view. We're the lucky guys to be breaking the ice up here.
Our MO is like to get to a place and before anybody else gets there and try to figure out what's there. We don't know where the animals hang out. We don't know how many there are. We don't know what species there are. So we got to get this all figured out before we take a single picture.
Look at those friggin' tracks, man. It's unbelievable.
But giant elephant tracks don't always lead to elephants.
The advance gives a signal, the rest of them divert. So I'm going to do this without I'm going to do this without flash. What happens is, if I've got flash, they signal everybody and they just divert. They go most of the smell. They also go by. I can also put palm nuts on the trail. That'd be cheating. I don't mind cheating. I gotta get pigs. Hell, I've been here 10 years, no pigs.
We'll get pigs here.
Red river hogs are just the beginning of this photo assignment. For a wildlife photographer, working in a place like Luongo might seem like shooting fish in a barrel. The reality is anything but. Wildlife photography can be tedious, grueling, often dangerous work.
Oh, what was that? Door popped.
This tree is our last stand. Just like the Alamo. Come over here, the wind. Man, they're really close. Can you see how close they are?
Hey, Mama. Hey, get back. Get back. Go on back. Go on back.
On this shoot, Nick will make thousands of images. Only a handful will make the pages of National Geographic magazine. And Mike knows just how critical those pictures will be.
You know, that's the golden combination, really, mixing exploration and science and the ability to reach millions of people. That's what you need to do. If you want to bring governments and the common man to move on something, they have to be captivated by it. And without Nick's photography, that just wouldn't happen. There's no way.
Back at base, the recruits continue their training. Guiding tourists will be a critical part of their job, and they'll need to learn as much as possible about everything in the forest.
Toutes les folioles sur le même axe, comme le vitec.
If nature's protected, that will really help develop tourism. That's important for us, the locals who live in this area.
Learning to call in wildlife for tourists to see is all part of the gig. Curious red-capped mangabees waste no time to see what the ruckus is about.
Agitated. Wonder what's going on.
But forest elephants are a different matter altogether. The undisputed king of this jungle does not take kindly to intruders. And Mike Fay sometimes finds himself a bit too close for comfort. A year and a half ago, he paid a heavy price.
This elephant didn't act normally. I mean, usually when you yell and scream and you kind of go toward her, which I did, they stop, you know, but she just didn't stop. She never stopped.
You get! You get!
At a certain point, I knew that this was the time when I was going to actually come in physical contact with an elephant. And I thought, this is going to hurt.
Calling his bluff, the elephant charged and within seconds was on top of Mike.
As I'm falling, I go boom, I hit the ground, and I turn around, and she is already in the air coming down with her tusks. And she's just like, yeah! And so I grab the tusks and just go like that. She skewers the ground, and her eye is like looking right at me. And she just kept on bucking me, and I was just going from hitting the ground and then coming back up, hitting the ground, coming back up.
Mike survived the attack, but not without some serious damage. He was gored over 13 times, received a puncture through his right bicep, and cracked a rib. He also developed a healthy fear of elephants.
I wouldn't say I'm well, I would say I'm nervous around elephants now. I'm not nearly as bold as I was. It's taken me almost a year, to get back to a level where my heart doesn't go boom, 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 boom.
But no matter how hard it makes his heart beat, the fact is, when you're trying to manage a park in Africa, you're going to have to deal with elephants. Today, Mike is working with his colleagues from the Wildlife Conservation Society, tracking forest elephants. Dr. Stephen Blake uses GPS collars to find out where they roam and how much space they need to survive.
Let's go straight for this corner here. Okay. Yeah. Got a female with youngsters, so it looks real good. It's a good group. Just 2 individuals. So I think we'll get them. Yes, mate. It's only 16, 15 as well.
Now it's time for the vet, Dr. Michael Koch, to get to work. The team holds back as he prepares to take his shot.
That's a good shot. He's pretty far away.
Well, if you can imagine, you're sneaking up onto this elephant in the woods, and you shoot this dart in this thing with narcotics, and this elephant freaks out, and it runs. And you don't know if it's going to run into a swamp. You don't know if it's going to get lost. You've got to keep on that thing as close as you possibly can, but you don't want to get too close because you might end up dead.
How long has it been? How long has it been? 1938, 2 minutes.
The team finds the elephant as she struggles to stay awake, but it's not the mother they need to worry about.
Okay.
Bring me my drug box, please. Bring me my drug box.
Whoa.
Bring me the drug box.
Whoa.
Okay. It's all right, guys. It's okay. Regardez-vous bien pour le deuxième. Le petit. Ooh, little guy. Don't you worry. Don't panic.
When the baby elephant backs down, the team leaps into action like an ER trauma unit. There's no time to waste. They need to get the mother back on her feet and reunited with her calf as soon as possible. First, they fit and adjust the collar. Next, measurements are taken, skin and hair samples are collected, and blood is drawn. Even ticks are removed for a parasite study. The vet keeps an eye on the elephant's vital stats to make sure she's okay.
How's she doing, Mike? Yeah.
It'd be better if we...
Yeah, I'm not going to.
We don't want to get into trouble with this.
I'm not going to bother with anything else.
The whole process only takes 10 minutes.
You can take everything. Let's go behind those trees over there.
Once the collar is secure, they give her a reverser shot. She'll wake up in a matter of minutes.
Okay.
It's a little bit awkward for her getting up, so she can only come this way. Okay, she's about to get up.
Every man for himself.
Luckily for the team, all the mother wants is to find her baby. In the next week, they'll fit 5 more satellite collars.
If you can get in there and you can get these collars that show you exactly where these elephants go day after day after day and every single season, you can kind of figure out where they go and what they need. And that gives you a much better way to conceptualize how to protect nature but still make room for the human kind of growth that's going to occur.
Elephants are crucial to the health of the forest. As they move through their territory, they forge trails, create forest clearings, and disperse seeds. It's like they're the caretakers of the woods. As important as they are, we don't know much about them. We know that they're big and eat a lot, so they go where the food is. At the height of the wet season, forest elephants travel hundreds of miles in search of fruiting trees. A search that takes them all the way to the coast. It's a pristine beach, nearly 70 miles long. This is the jewel of the Luango National Park. During the wet season, forest animals spill out onto the beach. It's extraordinary. Even more remarkable, this may be the only place on Earth where hippos go swimming in the surf. It's only been seen on a very remote part of the beach. And Nick is obsessed with photographing them. To get there, he's got to haul 2 tons of gear across 20 miles of beach, and he's only got a few hours to do it.
I'm a land person. I don't know much about the ocean, but I've learned here that tides rule your life. There's only a window of about 4 to 6 hours every day that we can actually move down the coast, or we're stuck. And so we're racing against the tide.
What happened?
Well, we can't cross unless we can find where the water's really shallow. Look at Nathan there. We can't cross there, no way. Not even a chance. I don't know what he's thinking about.
So Nick,
Yeah?
tell me where we are, what this is. We're standing in
It's a lagoon that yesterday water would have been up about here. It was a lake yesterday. Last night with the big rains, it blew out. If you look out. Nobody's going across till I say it's okay. Okay? No, I want you to walk across it. We can unload these quads. We can't afford to lose all this.
In this constantly shifting terrain, quicksand and hidden drop-offs often lurk just below the water's surface.
Yeah, that's fine.
You plan with the tides, but then they're bigger than you think, and these lagoons are so unpredictable. And in the heat of a moment, you can rush across this water and lose everything you've got. And maybe somebody else makes the decision at that moment, but it all ends up on my shoulders. If we lose everything and we can't function anymore, we're done.
Even in this idyllic setting, there's no rest for the weary. This time of year, Luango's lush seashore is packed with all kinds of wildlife, offering Nick opportunities he's not about to pass up. But birds and elephants, amazing as they may be, aren't what Nick is really after. He won't go home without a shot of the rarely seen and even more rarely photographed surfing hippos. But with wild animals, it can be tough to make an appointment. In a nearby mangrove, a wildlife prize fight is about to begin. So Nick takes a ringside seat. Though they look like salamanders, mudskippers are actually fish. These masters of the mud seem to spend more time out of the water than in it. Swilling water and carrying it in their gill chambers allows them to breathe on dry land. These walking fish have voracious appetites and are always on the lookout for a free lunch.
16.9, okay, we're good. All right, you filmer. I'll use the secret weapon. I didn't think about these guys being scavengers, that they might want to eat some of this. So this brings them up in front of the camera where we want them. The guy right there is the chief. He's the alpha. I don't know if it's a male or female, but he's the ruler. He gets whatever he wants. And he just does it with display. If you watch, he'll come up. I don't know. And we got a 5-pound mud skipper. Oh! He did a flip trying to get a piece of meat.
It may look like he's playing a video game, but Nick is actually hard at work. The only way to get decent close-ups of mud skippers is by using a remote camera. Nick watches the action unfold through video goggles.
It didn't go?
And when the moment's right, he fires away.
That is the magic trick.
Luckily for Nick, mud skippers rarely pass up a free meal. But they aren't the only ones around here with a hankering for dead fish.
Crab coming in. Crab coming in. Ooh, now Nick. Oh, they won't tolerate each other. Mud skipper left when the crab got tight. Oh, fin up, fight, fight, fight. Mud skipper challenge. Holy smokes. See, the mud skippers went out and gathered a force. 3 big guys ganged up on the crab.
With 3-to-1 odds, the crab takes a powder, and the mud skipper claims his slimy prize. Three months into eco-guide training, Mike brings the recruits to the coast to get a taste of what they're up against. Illegal fishing trawlers, leaky oil rigs, and trash washed ashore from around the world. These all threaten to destroy Luango's pristine environment.
Beauty products.
Mike's team is systematically cleaning up and cataloging the trash on the beach.
It's like thousands of these things, hundreds of thousands of them. Rich and creamy. That's my favorite brand. Dallas, Texas. What is a Dallas, Texas yogurt container doing on the wildest beach on the planet in Africa? The ultimate kind of result should be of this trash cleanup getting to the source of the trash and saying, hey guys, wake up.
No commercial fishing is allowed within 3 miles of the beach, but that doesn't stop boats from fishing illegally. So Mike routinely patrols the coastline to keep the trawlers at a legal distance.
Oh, and they're hiding now. Yeah, they're actually hiding. They're hiding away. Just ran away. Oh, God, that's funny.
It's like you can run, but you can't hide.
Over there. Right there? Yeah.
Coney 1. You guys just know that every time they're out here, this yellow boat shows up. And they're like, who are these guys? What are they doing?
It's a constant battle. Maintaining a strong presence here is the only way to keep Luango safe. That's why the future of the park lies in the hands of the eco-guides.
What we want these guys to understand is that they're living in one of the most incredible and precious ecosystems on the planet, and that nowhere else do these things exist, and that their job is to keep them in place. That understanding is building every day, it's growing every day, and I think these guys will become the foot soldiers to keep this place intact for a long time to come. Bon, vous savez qu'il n'y a pas de bateau de pêche, n'est-ce pas?
Back at Nick's camp, the team gets ready to celebrate Thanksgiving. It'll be their first day off in over 6 months.
This is a Cabera snapper that we're gonna eat for Thanksgiving.
But fish isn't all that's on the dinner menu.
This is Spam. And I'm cutting it up and we're gonna fry it and eat it. It's good.
Oh, he reached out his hand.
Whiskey, Spam, and snapper. All the trimmings for a proper Thanksgiving feast when you're 6,000 miles from home.
Imagine that.
It's a rare time for the crew to kick back and relax. But as they feast, little do they know, the hippos are arriving. And the following morning, Nick despairs at a missed opportunity.
Walk through our camp? Come here.
The surfing hippos walked right through our camp last night. Went out in the ocean, maybe went that way. Man.
As he nears the end of his assignment, the one image Nick really wants continues to elude him.
The surfing hippo is a metaphor for this whole thing. I mean, the fact that the forest goes into the sea. And so I came into this project feeling that I had to have this, and there's no way that I'm going to leave until I get it.
Just a few miles away, the team comes upon a hippo group just off the beach.
We love you. Come on, baby. Come on to Papa. 4 hippos. They're surfing hippos, but they're not surfing.
It looks promising. They're close to the beach. Now Nick has to predict if and when they might head for the surf.
Hippos have incredible eyesight. If we spook them, they'll bolt and we'll blow the only chance we have to see them in the surf. So I got to go into stealth mode. We come down the edge here.
It's a tempting photo op, but hippos in the lagoon aren't what Nick's really after, and getting too close might scare them away. Until the hippos head for the beach, the only thing left to do is wait, a classic dilemma for a wildlife photographer.
I know that there's hippos all over Africa that are in water. What's unique about these guys is that they go in the ocean. So what I should do, absolutely, is wait for them to go in the ocean. But it's like, I may not get anything then. But I guess that's the thing I have to do, is wait.
After a few days of close observation, Nick thinks he's figured out what's going on.
Hippos are vulnerable on land and incredibly bulky. So I think that's why they travel in the ocean to get to their feeding ground, and then they return to the lagoon in the morning.
With the setting sun, the hippos start to make their move. Nick prepares for the magic moment. But the hippos have other plans. They decide to wait and head for the surf just when it gets too dark to photograph them. The team can do nothing but wait and hope the hippos return in the morning. And Nick is starting to feel the frustration.
Okay, it's 4 a.m. We're trying to get the surfing hippos coming up out of the surf at dawn. We can't turn our lights on because they might see us. Just trying to get the gear together. We're hoping this is it. It's really hard. We've been up at dawn the last 3 days. We're completely worn out. It's very, very difficult to see them. But they symbolize something in my photography too, because I go after things that are unseen.
As dawn breaks, Nick spots the herd right along the water's edge. It's now or never, and Nick makes his move. Finally, his perseverance pays off.
You're talking about some of the photography methods. I mean, how do you get a surfing hippo? There's only one way. You just go up and down this beach until you catch him out in the water. There's no spot that there's X on the map, surfing hippo here. It's literally luck. But the luck is created by repetition and being out there.
It's been a 15-year trip from the rainforests of Congo to the shores of Luongo. An extraordinary collaboration between scientist and photographer that's not only shown the world some of Africa's last remaining wilderness, but also made it possible for these places and the animals that live here to survive. In the end, it's a friendship based on a shared passion for keeping wild places wild.
Why do I wake up every morning and worry about the fish in the lagoon? People shooting elephants. Why do I worry about people cutting down big trees? I don't know why. I don't know why it's an obsession, but it is.
You realize that humans really need nature. Why? We need nature because it makes us feel intact. And to know that somewhere there's hippos in the surf and mudskippers fighting crabs, this place has got to be there for this earth to be whole.
For more information about Luongo National Park, check out the August 2004 issue of National Geographic magazine. That's it for tonight. I'm Lisa Ling, and I'll see you next time.